Good afternoon. My name is DaVatrice Lindsey, and I'm the attorney for NELP, the Neighborhood Entrepreneurial Law Project. It launched in 2018 for individuals and for-profit small businesses. We provide residents of the Palm Beach County area the tools and knowledge to be successful in starting and or owning their own small business. We also supply limited financial assistance for business registration, logo design, home occupation affidavit, and more for eligible applicants only. And we furnish webinars and podcasts regarding important business topics, such as the topic for today. I have the pleasure of introducing the presenter. Jaden was not always the financial guru that he is today. Growing up in the household just shy of federal poverty line in Prince George's County, Maryland, he knew the importance of money management, but didn't have the tools to create financial stability he so desperately craved. Graduating Towson University with a BS in accounting and incurring a large amount of debt, Jaden was determined to make a change. With a little hard work and a lot of sacrifice, Jaden became independent, gained professional growth as an accountant at a small CPA firm in Atlanta, and became a certified public accountant. Over the past 5 years, he's worked with clients in just about every industry, helping them not only expand their financial portfolios, but to create plans that ensure financial sustainability and minimize taxability. As a CPA, Jaden's goal is to help entrepreneurs like himself gain independence and create a unique action plan to bring more to their bottom line while paying less in taxes. It is an honor to present to you, Mr. Jaden Doye.
Hello, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you for that great introduction. That was very, very nice of you. So today, without further ado, we want to talk about what's on everybody's mind, and that is how to handle your business post a crisis like we're having right now with COVID. So today, I am going to do a presentation on budgeting after COVID-19. And I'm just going to discuss 6 steps on how to get your business budget together after a crisis. So let me go ahead and get this presentation going. All right, so here we are. So let's start with the first step. You need to first evaluate the financial damage. So depending on what industry you're in, that in general will determine how much of a damage has been done to your business. I've seen a lot more damage to income statements to the clients that I have that are restaurant clients, because unfortunately there was a part of time when the restaurants, no matter what they tried to lobby for, they were not able to open. Therefore, they went months with no revenue. However, e-commerce businesses may have had a less of a decline in their income during this COVID. So whatever your industry you're in, you want to, in general, assess the damage that has been done to that, but you also want to assess the damage that has been done specifically to your business. So the National Federation of Independent Business states that 92% of small businesses suffered during the early stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. So don't feel bad that you saw a decline in revenue during those early months of COVID, such as March, February, and April. But now that the second quarter is over, now is the time for you to review your financial statements and compare them to previous years. So if this is your 3rd year in business, you'll be able to really assess what the damage is by comparing your second quarter, which is going to be April, May, and June of this year, 2020, to the second quarter of 2019. And if your business is not a seasonal business and you usually have about the same amount of sales throughout the year, then this will be a great way for you to review just how much of damage the COVID-19 has done to your business. Now let's go to the next step. All right, so this is going to be revisiting your business plan. So I assume everyone that is watching this webinar today, if you are in business, you have a business plan. It's either written somewhere in a binder or it's saved on your computer, but I assume that you have a business plan. And if you don't, then you need to pause, do a business plan, and then come back. Because having a business plan is very important to having a successful business. But sometimes your business plan rather needs some changes and adjustments. So your previous business plan may have worked for your old business pre-COVID-19, but now it's the time to create a new model. Now that people are starting to realize that their coworkers and employees work better from home, people are making adjustments with their commercial real estate. People are starting to do things that are more virtual. So the software cost, that is a part of your business plan. That has to fit into your new model. If you relied on door-to-door sales prior to COVID, now with COVID going on and people able to spread the virus just by speaking in front of you, then you might want to devise a new plan where your customers can shop online so that they can still shop with you during quarantine and be safe at the same time. Because of course, certain cities are more strict than others. And what you want to do is still be able to generate income in your business, but still have a way for your customers to feel safe and still being compliant. And let's go to the next step. All right, so this is talking about researching financial opportunities. So the PPP EIDL, those funds, the rules change on them all the time, to be honest. So unfortunately, there's going to be the limitations with that. So everyone needs to research what other options and what other programs are out there. So some things to look at are business lines of credit, inventory financing, as well as vendor trade lines. Vendor trade lines include having certain terms with vendors. Let me give you an example. Let's say you are a print shop and every month you have to order 10,000 pounds of paper. Ordinarily, you might pay for that paper as soon as you order it. But if you can work out some type of payment terms with with the vendor that you purchase your paper from, and you might be able to stretch that out 30 days or 60 days, then that will be great for business in the terms of cash flow. Because now that money that you would have already put out, you can use on other things that are going to generate money quicker. So when cash flow is low, you have to make some type of adjustments, and sometimes loans are just not an option. So like I said, you have to look at what other options work for your specific industry. You may also want to look at maybe partnering up with another business. Maybe there's a print shop down the street where you all can split the cost on paper. There's so many different possibilities, but in this time of pandemic, you have to be very creative. All right, so let's talk about revamping your current budget and allocating new spending. So as I previously stated, you want to conduct an analysis of your industry and just to see how hard the pandemic has also affected your competitors. You want to look for trends. You want to look for possible gaps that may lead you to discovering what ideas can satisfy this new market. And in order to do that, I recommend completing a SWOT analysis. It can be very useful to review the strengths and weaknesses of your business, and also to help you reconsider what your revenue goals are, reconsider what the objectives are, and your new milestones. You may have to defer paying yourself for a while and take a salary cut. The goal ultimately is to eliminate waste in your in your business, and streamline your operating budget to take advantage of growth and investment opportunities in the future. What I recommend doing is also looking at your bank statement over the past 60 days and look at what subscriptions you currently have. I recently did this and just by spending an hour of my time, I was able to save my business $2,000 on an annual basis by cutting out subscriptions that honestly I really don't need. Sometimes we feel like we need 17 different softwares when really we might just need 4 softwares that have different purposes. So definitely reallocate that, revisit that budget and allocate new spending. All right, so now that you have allocated new spending, we need to set a recovery timeline. So setting priorities such as securing funding, rehiring employees, resetting inventory level, as well as opening your doors if you have a physical office. I know you might want to do it immediately, but that might not be realistic. So as you start to take these different steps that I'm talking about through this webinar to recovery, you need to track your progress. So whether that's using a spreadsheet, whether that's using a CRM system, whether that's just using a whiteboard like me and my team use, those are all different ways to track your recovery timeline. But you want to make sure that you're not wasting time and resources during this process, because at the end of the day, time is money. And we don't like to waste neither one of those. All right, so last but not least, I want to talk about getting a contingency plan in place for the next crisis. So people have been in the talks of whether there's going to be a second wave or not. We never know what else may happen in which will cause your business to be at a standstill again. But failure to plan is planning to fail. That's a motto that I live by, honestly. Emergencies realistically can happen at any time. So you want to use what you learned from this pandemic to prepare for another crisis. So some actionable items for preparation may include building up savings, paying down debt, finding processes that make your business more efficient, like I talked about earlier, with maybe using less softwares, streamlining your process. You definitely want to open yourself up to new ways of conducting your business, such as remote access. If your staff hasn't previously had that option, and you always want to prepare for worst case scenarios. This is definitely the time to learn the importance of savings. I know a lot of people say they don't save because they have credit cards. However, some things realistically you can't put on a credit card. So it's very important to make sure that you have cash savings on hand. I recommend 3 months. 3 months personal and then 3 months business. Both of those should be the goal. Of course, it's not going to happen overnight, but if you work it in your budget, which I talked about earlier, then it'll happen sooner rather than later. And that's pretty much it. I like to keep it short, sweet, to the point, didn't really feel the need to draw this out any longer than needed. And I think that pretty much sums up everything that I wanted to say. Do you all think that I missed anything, or you think that was good?
Thank you so much, Jayden, for that information. You hit on a lot of key points, especially now during the pandemic. A few of the audience members have some questions.
Okay.
The first question is, my PPP application was denied because I suffered a loss on 219 Schedule C. Do you have any advice?
No. If you, at the end of the day, the PPP is a loan. So they are only going to loan money to businesses that are profitable, because those are going to be the businesses that are going to be able to pay it back in their mind. So if your business suffered a loss in 2019, then they're looking at your business as a high risk business, and therefore you wouldn't be eligible for the PPP if you, one, didn't have payroll, and if your Schedule C had a loss. If you wanted to get the PPP, then the only option would be to take less deductions, so you show a net income on 2019. But after you amend the return and pay for that, and then have to pay the taxes on the increase of income plus self-employment tax, oftentimes, I would say rather 99% of the time, it's not worth it. So I would look at other options such as EIDL. It's actually opened back up for businesses that are non-agricultural, and look at different grant opportunities as well. There's a lot of different business grant opportunities, especially if you are in if you're in a major city. I've realized there seems to be more grants for minority businesses, women-owned businesses. There, whatever sector you're in, you want to search specifically for those as well, because those are often overlooked and overfunded.
Thank you. The next question is about restructuring their
Hmm.
business because they actually suffered great losses due to the pandemic.
Hmm.
What would a plan of action look like to restructure the business financially to kind of cover the losses as well as try to stay afloat?
That goes back to the resetting the budget. You want to reallocate, redo a budget, and projected financials. So okay, so let's say you're a restaurant, right? And you decide, okay, now that I haven't been able to pay the rent for 3 months. Now they're kicking me out my lease. But I do have $25,000. So what I'm going to do is take that $25,000 and do a food truck. So now I'm still able to make money, but it's a whole different realm, right? Where pretty much people can come pick up in like kind of like a parking lot setting. So realistically, depending on what city you're in, there's a lot of places that are not sheltering in place. Atlanta's one of them. So realistically, a food truck would definitely work out here and would be way less expensive than having an actual restaurant. In addition to that, you can look at if you were to do like Uber Eats or Grubhub. If you partner with all those delivery services, maybe after 1 month of activity, you'll be able to realistically assess what your projected revenues are for the next few months for this third quarter, and that'll help you prepare realistic projected financial statements.
Thank you. The next question is about home-based businesses. A lot of people, because their wages were cut or they lost their job completely, have started home-based businesses, but they're kind of perplexed as far as how to start out budgeting. What should they put in their budget? What should they plan for? Could you basically give a couple of your best demonstrated practices to start as far as starting out with a home-based business and the budget?
Absolutely. So depending on what exactly they're doing as a home-based business, that'll determine what that looks like. So let me give you an example. Let's just say someone is doing therapy, right? Someone's going to be a therapist and they're going to do it from their home, and they're going to do it via whatever online platform is HIPAA compliant. They can go online and research what a business model would look like for a virtual therapy um, business. And with that, it'll include what uh, examples of budgets are. So I say that because every industry has certain expenses that other industries don't have. So the therapist might have to go through a third party billing company that may cost them $1,000 a month, that someone that may be doing credit repair from home, they won't have. Or someone that's doing remote, let's say somebody wants to be a masseuse, right? Let's just say we're no longer sheltering in place. Everybody has a mask and everything is good. So now you're not doing massages at Massage Envy anymore. You're going to people's houses. There's a business plan out there somewhere online for that. Whatever business you want to go into, I'm telling you, it's really no point in reinventing the wheel. You would save yourself a lot of time and money by finding a wheel that's already made and just putting a spinning rim on it, making it shiny, customizing it for yourself. That would be that's usually what I recommend for clients that are looking to start a new business but have no idea where to go.
Thank you. The next question is about financial documents. What are the basic financial documents that most businesses need? This question came about because a lot of businesses did not have the basic documents that were needed to be able to apply for the PPP loan or the EIDL. So what do you suggest that most businesses should have as far as financial documents are concerned?
All right, so you need an EIN, you need a business bank account, you need articles of organization. So depending on what state you're in, it determines what that looks like and how much that costs and how often you have to renew that. And then you need tax returns. So if you're a sole proprietorship, then your business income and expenses are reported on Schedule C of the of your personal return. If you're an S corp, it'll be on a whole different informational return called an 1120S. If you're a C corp, it'll be on Form 1120, and if you're a partnership, it'll be on Form 1065. In addition to that, if you're running payroll, then W-2. I recommend if you're genuinely are running payroll, work with a payroll company. There is no point in trying to figure out how to do it manually because you're most likely going to mess it up, and the cost to use a genuine payroll company like ADP is so little compared to the penalties and fines that entrepreneurs get by a small mistake on a payroll report. And I also want to talk about that really briefly. Taking money out the business does not mean you're paying yourself payroll. That's a distribution. And whether that's taxed or not, there's a list of if-then statements that I can say that would determine if it's taxed or not. But the only time you're actually paying yourself a payroll is if you are paying payroll taxes on those wages that you transferred from the business and put into your personal account, or wrote yourself a check from the business and cashed yourself.
Thank you. That was very informative. The next question is about cutting costs. I know you did mention some things as far as what to avoid and how to not necessarily cut corners, but to avoid extra fees. What are just some of the main things you would recommend to be able to cut costs?
Definitely subscriptions. Like I said, that's a big one. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's just $50 a month. Oh, it's just $60 a month, but that adds up. You know, you do $50 times 12, and I believe that's $600 on an annual basis. Do that times 6, that's $3,600 on an annual basis. So that's one. Two, rent. As you can see, well, you can only see half of it, but I'm in a big office, and I'm the only one here. So. And I moved here like literally 15 days before the shelter in place started. So, and that's because business was booming, right? But I had to readjust, and now everyone's working from home. So, if you can get out of the lease, get out of the lease and get maybe a smaller office, look at virtual office options. Here in Atlanta, there's a company called Regis where you can pretty much have a business address, use their address as a business address. And if you need to use the physical office, you can pay a certain amount, maybe like $10 an hour for the conference room or the use of a physical office, or you can always use their co-working space, and that's included in your membership. So look at maybe downsizing your physical space, and then salaries and expenses. Salaries, honestly, unfortunately, a lot of people have lost their job from COVID, but that just goes to show that businesses are concerned with their bottom line, and as small business owners, we have to be concerned with our bottom line. So if you have to let someone go that's not generating income in your business, then that's what you're going to have to do.
Thank you. There's just two more questions. The next one is about what are the main financial mistakes that you see business owners making, and how can they be avoided?
No accounting records. So I asked them, can I see financial statements? And they say, I have bank statements. Those are not the same thing. Bank statements are given to you from your bank. And financial statements are given to you from your accounting professional. So when I say financial statements, I'm talking about what I showed you on the first slide. Income statement, which shows your revenue and expenses. Balance sheet, which shows your assets, which is things that you own, like that computer, that's an asset. And then people you owe. So loans, credit cards, things of that nature. I need to know all of that. And to avoid that, you need to work with an accounting professional or a bookkeeper or learn how to do your own books. But I still would recommend working with, especially if you're new in business, it may not be cost effective for you to work with the CPA, but it will be more effective for you to maybe pay for an hour of consulting time so they can kind of give you the blueprint that you need so that so you don't make mistakes. And then maybe work with a bookkeeper, a low-cost bookkeeper that specializes in your industry that maybe can just do your books every quarter. That'll be one of the ways to avoid not having good financial records, because not having good financial records is essentially not knowing the health of your business. It's like never going to the doctor ever to get anything checked and just assuming everything is good. So that's the biggest thing for me. And a lot of the mistakes that business owners make and issues that come up can be avoided simply by reviewing their financial statements.
Thank you. The last question is, what financial trends do you see coming about given the atmosphere, the pandemic, and things of that nature that small businesses should look out for?
Digital marketing. Now people have to be weary because now that people have been home for 3 months, people do a little class or they watch a little YouTube video, and now everyone is a social media expert. Everyone is a marketing expert. What? There's people that literally have master degrees in this marketing game and still don't get it, right? So you want to get your marketing budget should be no more than, I would say, 33% of revenue. So if you are anticipating getting $100,000 in revenue, then you should be able to spend like $33,000 in advertising. And advertising and marketing doesn't just mean like ads, okay? Because a lot of people could say, "Oh, I'm an ad expert," right? But if somebody clicks an ad and it's not an effective ad, then essentially you wasted your money. So when it comes to marketing, you want to work with a company that specializes, like I said, in your industry. You want to work with a company that can give you the full gambit. You need a website that converts. You need a social media presence, a web presence, but you also want to look at referral programs. So for my company, Prestige Accounting Solutions, we pay for referrals. So if someone sends us a referral for some entrepreneur that wants to work with us and they sign up for one of our subscriptions, then we after 90 days of service, we will pay that person that sent them over. That's another way of advertising. But digital marketing, because a lot of people are going to start working from home, digital marketing is definitely going to be the new wave in business. And that is how you are going to reach your target market. The whole in-person networking events, I mean, they were great while they lasted. But if you want to reach your target market, you need to find out if they're on Facebook, Instagram, or if they're listening to the radio, or if they're watching TV, and you need to be on that platform.
Thank you. Your presentation was very informative, much needed, especially during this time. How can people get in contact with you if they need to reach out to you for your services?
They can email me at Jaden at prestigeaccountants.com. I'll go ahead and put that in the chat, accountants.com. They can follow me on social media. I'm on Instagram at The Great Jayden. That's Jayden. And yeah, I think Instagram and email, those are usually the best ways to get in contact with me.
All right, thank you. And thank you for everyone who attended. We really appreciate it and hope that this helped you with your small business. Definitely get in contact with Jaden if you're in need of his services. And we do have other webinars coming up in July. We will send out flyers as well as emails regarding those webinars. Everyone stay safe and healthy. Thank you again.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.